Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gloria and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about some plants that I literally brought back from the dead. So they either rotted or I did something wrong with it, but you know that now they're recovered and they're thriving. So I want to show you guys because I like to be very transparent on my channel and show you guys all the mistakes that I've ever made with my plants. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. And yeah, let's just jump right into today's video. So I took a little bit of a break, I think over like a week, just to like kind of gather myself because with everything going on, it's just been really hectic. But I wanted to come back with this type of video because they're my favorite, to kind of talk about, you know, how I've improved as a plant parent and like things I've learned so that you guys don't do the same thing. We'll start off with plant number one, which is my Hoya obovata. So this one you guys have definitely seen over the course of my channel, me on social media. It's been probably about a year now that I've had this plant. Used to be one of my favorites and still is pretty much one of my favorites because I love the really round leaves and just like how stunning it is. But this one actually rotted really terribly in Leca and it was very hard to root this. It was literally wrinkly for probably like 4 months and it would just like not take up water from the water reservoir through the roots and then giving it to the leaves, and that's why it was so wrinkly. It was just very dehydrated, but now the roots are really extensive and just doing really well actually. So there's a few roots kind of like over on the side that you can kind of see, and you can like pretty much tell from the texture of the leaves and the stiffness that it's doing okay now. And it actually grew out a whole new leaf, which is this one. It's getting bigger by the day and it's just looking really amazing. So I'm really happy about this one. Let's move on to another plant, which is my African violet. So this is my variegated African violet called Love in Bloom, and it has pink flowers, but currently it doesn't have any flowers because it's not in bloom. So yeah, this is the variegated African violet. I really like how the leaves are so fuzzy, just more unique than just your regular old African violet. Although this one is not super variegated and the growth pattern is pretty like clustered. It's like a little bit messy, but I don't really mind it. What happened with this one was I kind of forgot to water it for about 2 weeks and literally the entire plant like flopped over. It was like oh I just ripped off the leaf because I was trying to show you guys. We're gonna try to pretend that didn't happen. But anyway, this was flopping over like no tomorrow and everything was just limp. No matter what I did with it, it would not go back to its original state like this. It literally took about a month of recovering from how dehydrated the roots were before it would even bounce back. So I was actually really scared that I would lose my variegated African violet. So I ended up propagating it, which I just took 3 leaves that were kind of like, you know, really floppy and just ugly, and I decided to just stick it into some soil and it actually grew some baby leaves. If you can see down there, I'm really surprised that this actually came back from the dead, although the original leaves are a little bit crispy and like not looking too hot, but the little babies are doing really great. I think I will probably be able to get another plant for this African violet and I'll probably give it to my mom. We should have a moment of silence for this fallen leaf. Not fallen, this dead leaf, because I'm probably not going to be propagating this. I like it when the stem is a little bit longer, so I could stick it a little bit deeper into the soil. I don't really like to just propagate by like the leaf part. Moving on, let's go on with my Philodendron Gloriosum. So this is my beautiful Gloriosum that I'm sure you guys have seen on my channel before. It used to be a really big plant. I've definitely propagated it over like the course of this year, but mainly the issue with this one was that it got hit with thrips. It literally took a year for it to recover. Not only did I had to treat it for like 3+ months, the plant was just really set back afterwards and like the roots started to rot and it was just like a whole bunch of different problems. The old leaves actually did fall off, so they were just like leafless nodes and I just propagated those and grew like more Gloriosums. But this is the original like OG plant that I have, and it came out with this leaf, which is actually a really nice leaf. And there's another leaf on the way, which I think it's actually going to be bigger than its previous leaf. So I'm really happy. And I think the internodal spacing is also reduced as well. So it's getting shorter, meaning the nodes are closer together and the leaves are going to come kind of like bushier because it does crawl along the surface of your medium. But If the nodes are a little bit smaller, that means you don't need as big of a pot. Before, the internodal spacing was more like this, and now it's like this. And it's just like not as set back as it was before in terms of getting hit with thrips. So yeah, this one definitely came back from the dead, and I'm really surprised that it's still alive to this day, because if you guys didn't know, thrips is honestly the worst pest that you can ever have for your houseplants, because it spreads really quickly and it just like literally demolishes your plant in a matter of like days to weeks, and you're just like, what happened? Anyway, moving on is my Sibu blue Pothos. So this is the Epipremnum pinnatum Sibu blue, and it is kind of like the bluish green leaf plant, and it's just very nice. Originally my plant was double in size for sure. It was thriving in leca, so it was doing really well. Roots were really extensive. I was growing it under my grow lights. It was getting a little bit too much light, so I moved it off to the side and kind of forgot about it a little bit. So I might have overwatered it when I noticed that the water reservoir did dry up, so that ended up rotting the roots, literally every single root. By the time I got to it, I had 0 roots on my entire plant, and it was just like a rootless plant. So all the leaves were starting to yellow, and I tried to regrow it and reroot it and repropagate and all of that, and now it's back into leca. So I'm very happy that it survived that traumatic experience. I really want to try my Sibu blue in the leca again, because it's just like a really easy medium, and I like a soilless medium. If it rots one more time, I probably will be switching it over to something like pon, which is like a rock substrate, also soilless. But yeah, I'm really happy that my Sibu blue is doing well now, and it's like back from the dead and it's thriving. It actually put out a bunch of new leaves. Although they're small, I think it's just getting adjusted to like the new medium and like just gathering itself, you know? I have a bunch of Hoyas I wanted to show you guys. So the first one is definitely my Hoya Lacunosa silver. So this is the plant that I originally got about 10 to 12 months ago. So it used to be a really big plant. I did propagate it because it ended up rotting. So some of the pieces that I tried to propagate didn't make it, but others that did, I just ended up, you know, trading it, selling it, whatever the case may be. But this is my plant left. So it is really small, but it did grow like 4 new leaves for me in this like period where it finally rooted into the leca, and it's doing well. It's thriving. I love how the new leaves kind of have a little bit of green. So if you can see like these 2 leaves right here, these are 2 new leaves. Oop. So those are 2 new leaves. Because there's a little bit more green in there, I think it's gonna grow a little bit faster, so I don't have to wait as long in between the new growth. That way, it's just more rewarding to see. This one first initially rotted in soil, and then it rotted in leca, so it rotted multiple times. It's a very easy to rot plant, unfortunately, but it's a very like rare plant, and a lot of people are looking for this, so I don't want to get rid of it. And I really just wanted to thrive in my care now, which it finally has put out 4 new leaves. So very good. Next up is my Hoya Calistophylla. So this did fine in soil and rotted in leca. So this one I also had to grow back from literally 0 roots. And this is, I think, the short leaf. So Calistophylla short leaf, and it has the beautiful veining on the leaves. Now it's currently in pon, so hoping that it enjoys this medium a little bit more. So when I rerooted this, it was originally in moss, and I tried to clean the roots as much as I could before placing it into the pond. And I have a layer of leca at the bottom just so the pond doesn't, you know, like fall through the little drainage slits and holes and just make a mess in my sink. So that is a little tip that I learned from my friend. So you either put like a little piece of mesh at the bottom, or you just do a little layer of leca so that all the rocks don't fall through the holes. This is my Callistophylla. I'm really happy that, you know, it's come back from the dead. It's re-rooted. I've rooted it twice now, and I don't want to have to root it for the 3rd time. Currently in a different substrate. Hopefully it will do better in this one. Last but not least, I want to show you guys my Hoya manipurensis. So this is the little itty bitty plant that I have now. It used to be really big, and I propagated it so many times. I've traded it, I've sold it, but I really wanted a nice bushy manipurensis. Like 10 different pieces in that pot. So I had to reroot like 10 different pieces of manipurensis, which was quite the struggle. And now that they're finally rooted, I want to put it into pon so that I can try it out and hope for the best. You know, that's kind of my like go-to saying with a lot of my plants. I like to try new things. I like to try things out and hope that it doesn't kill my plant. I'm a little bit lazy, that's for sure. I don't do a great job in cleaning the roots off most of the time, but I mean, for the most part, I think these are going to survive. So these are the plants that I've done really terribly with over the past like 6 months, I would say. And they've been trying to just like make a comeback and, you know, not die anymore, essentially. So I hope you guys learned something from this video and found it somewhat entertaining and helpful. Hope you guys don't make the same mistakes as I did with rotting a lot of my plants. I do experience a lot of either root rot or pests, just because that tends to come with the territory of being a plant mom. But I mean, mine probably happens a little bit more than some people because I'm so lazy. But if you're more like helicopter plant parent, I'm sure you'll do fine. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Give this video a thumbs up if you did, and maybe comment down below which plant you literally brought back from the dead, because I would love to know. These were all the plants that I did. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.